Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is guide for Sardegna B in reverse with the Volkswagen Scirocco Gr. Let's get this started. For this race, the Volkswagen Scirocco Gr is used as it's pretty dominant when it comes to the main straight and the shorter back straight. Brake balance is at 1 or 1 to the rear, and we're on the racing hard tires. Stay on the right side of the track, pretending you're going through Sardegna A in reverse. Bring yourself a bit to the left, and brake just as you start to pass the sign on the right. Brake hard for a short moment, then you want to clip the curbs, so you can try to clip it a bit more than what I do, and you want to get on the throttle as soon as you can. Then turn in when the curb on the left ends, and all you want to do is just lift off of throttle. Then this is where it starts to get a little tricky. So when the curb on the left is about to end, you want to start to brake and turn in, but you don't want to go for the first apex. You want to go for the second apex. So you need to do a lot of braking and throttle control. Bring yourself to the right, and just as the new sector starts or before the wall on the right ends, that is where you want to start to brake. Take advantage of the inside of the turn as there's a bit of a dip at the apex, which will help the car rotate a bit more. And make sure you exit that turn on third gear. This right turn can be taken flat out, and brake just as you pass the 50-meter board before the painted wall on the right starts. Brake hard for a short moment, ease off of the brakes as you turn in, and use a little bit of throttle so you don't end up understeering, and as the barrier on the right ends, that is when you want to start to fully accelerate. Quickly bring yourself towards the left, and just before the painted barriers on the left end, that is where you want to start to brake. Brake hard for a short moment, and slowly ease off of the brakes as this turn is a little long and drawn out. Then lift off of throttle as you make your way through this right turn. Lots of throttle control needed, especially for this left turn. And before the curb on the left ends, that is where you want to start to brake. You want to do a little bit of braking control so you don't end up understeering. And make sure you keep your right wheels away from the blue curb, because if the right wheels hit the blue curb, then you're going to get a pretty big penalty. But that is pretty much it for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at the strategies. So we're doing 8 laps at Sardegna C with the Group 4 cars. Fuel is a ×2, so fuel is not an issue. Tower is a ×6, so tower is not an issue, especially since we're on the racing hard tires. And, well, you're going to see how short this race is. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. The lights go green. We're going to go ahead and get this started, and the race is already over. All right, awesome. So yeah, this race, this race is really short. I don't know why, but this Daily Race C is under 12 minutes long. I don't know why. I think this is the shortest Daily Race C that we've ever had in Gran Turismo. But anyways, so this race, it's pretty much going to be dominated by the FF cars, the front-wheel drive cars, especially by the Volkswagen Scirocco. And it's a bit of an unfortunate thing because there are other cars like the Megane Trophy, the Toyota 86, and I think even the Ferrari 448 that can actually do pretty well over here. But since that under the current settings, well, 1, the race is way too short, and 2, with this race being a pretty easy no stop where tire wear is barely even an issue, it's going to make the handling cars a bit harder to be competitive with. But I will say it is a pretty fun track to do time trial with, especially with all the technical corners, especially on the first and third sectors. But in the race, I mean, once again, it's too short for really much to happen, so it's a bit disappointing that the race is that short and there's no real strategy involved. And yeah, 12-minute race, you're going to spend more time waiting in between races than doing the actual race itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at places to overtake and the penalty serving zone, as there's barely anything to talk about in terms of race strategy and all that stuff. So the main straight, which is where we're at right now, pretty easy spot to try to get an overtake done, especially with the use of slipstream. And you want to try to get the pass done before you have to brake for the first 2 turns, as it's pretty much a single file line through here. If you go too wide, you do risk an incident happening. After that, it's going to be single file line for a while. Overtakes can happen through this weird hairpinish turn, but it's very situational. But you can definitely see an overtake happening through here, through the second hairpin. The back straight, you could try to take advantage of whoever in front of you got a really bad exit, and the slipstream will help out a bit, especially as you start to go up the hill. So you can try to go for the overtake over here, because after that it's going to mostly be a single file line. And if you end up in a battle with someone through this right turn, do not go on the outside, because you do risk touching the gravel and hitting the wall. And after that, the last place to try to get the overtake done is the final turn, but you do need to set yourself up just right to try to make an overtake happen by taking the inside line. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is possible to make it work. And we'll go ahead and finish up the race, but I do want to show where the penalty serving zone is for those who didn't catch it. It's in a really weird spot, so it's just after sector 3 starts. So after you make this long right turn, the penalty serving zone is hanging out right here. So if you do have to serve a penalty, you do end up losing quite a bit of time, but it could be worse. You could be serving the penalty on the main straight. But that is pretty much it for this guide. Once again, not much to talk about. Volkswagen Scirocco is pretty much going to be your go-to car, as you got the Scirocco, it's pretty OP. But that's all for me. I'm going to sign off now. So this is MCA, wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.